timer in the top right hand. There will be a timer in the top right hand corner of the Zoom screen. Thank you.
My name is Ralph White, and I am an alcoholic. And thank you guys for the invitation to come out and share my experience, strength, and hope. I was caught up in the meditation and forgot I was talking. Um, so thank you for that part of the format. Uh, so let's get present. You know, my sobriety date is October the 11th, 1986. And I've been with you guys more than half my life. Been with you 37 years. I'm 70 years old, just turned 70 on 9/11. And I am, I say it often, and it's really true. I'm at my very best when I'm with you, you know, and I'm at my very best when I'm away from you, but I'm my better best when I'm with you. I'm the best me I've ever been. And being the best me I've ever been, some of you might say that's disappointing, you know, because I fall down. I still do stuff. I've not risen above human. 37 years in this program does not make me an authority, does not make me an expert, does not make me a spokesperson for Cocaine Anonymous. I got a friend out of Florida and I steal it from him all the time. But what it does make me is a satisfied customer. And I like to talk about it. Uh, on October the, you know, when Grace comes calling, most of the time, you know, it's not dressed up like one would expect Grace to be. You know, you would think Grace would be graceful, right? You would think it would show up with a nameplate. You know, for most of us, you know, at least one of our first experiences that we know about, and we don't know it when we're in it. We know it looking back. Doesn't look like it. And Grace found me on the night of October the 10th of 1986 in the person of two young gangbangers with their pants sagging. Never thought Grace would have sagging pants, right? And these youngsters confronted me on the street that night. I had been reduced to a point where I was working for this guy that was serving on the block, and working for him is a loose term. He would put something in my hands, you know, small quantity. I'm not big time like that. I had been big time in life, believe it or not. In some other areas, I had risen in the workplace. I was kind of a successful guy. I had always been a high achiever. Uh, I've been a guy that all my life thought I'd leave footprints. I've got a remarkable mom in my life that demonstrated spiritual living in a way that gave me some stuff that I often take credit for, but I guess it's DNA. It's kind of the way I'm built. My mom was on welfare, and uh, I grew up in Watts in the 60s, and my mom was a domestic at the time. Last night, my brother Ronnie was over here with his wife, and my daughters were here, and we were talking about some stuff. And my mom is 93, and she was recounting some things about growing up and her having some battles with my grandma. And she was talking about, I often talk about my mom being a domestic, but since I wasn't with her on her jobs, I always think about it as her washing people's clothes and ironing people's clothes. And last night my mom was talking, and she was talking about getting into it with my grandmother. One day, my grandmother used to watch us. I have five brothers, six of us little boys. And my mother would be out in the day, you know, doing people's houses. And she came home one night from work all day, and my grandmother was getting on her about how you ain't raising these boys right now. And my mom said she snapped. And that's not the part of the story that got my attention. She said she snapped. She said, I was out all day and I come home after being on my hands and knees, you know, scrubbing people's floors. And I got a visual of this lady, you know, and raising six boys in Watts by herself at the time, and scrubbing people's floors on her hands and knees. I have always been a guy, and my mom I saw my mom when I was in my childhood. I was about 8 or 9, and she went back to high school, about 10 years old. And she went back to junior college and went to college and graduated from college and went on to have a long and distinguished career in the insurance field. So the lessons I got from that was you can be whatever it is you want to be. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Doesn't matter where you start, you can overcome. You want to do just and the overriding theme of my mom's life is gotta make a way. If that was her song, that's it. And so I got these. So anyway, you guys always had this idea to do whatever I want to do, be whatever I want to be. Yeah, I'm a kid watching the 60s, but you needed to be born in the 60s. That was or grow up in the 60s. I was born in the 50s. It was an optimistic time, and uh, uh, a really hopeful time, and it was an era of we make it was an era of new breed. We can make things happen. So anyway, so I grew up like that, you guys, and I was a make it happen guy. I was first kid off my block to go to college, and always had a lot of accolades. And I got brothers behind me, Ronnie, Reggie. They would always be high achieving guys too, and made my mom proud. All of, but I got this thing that all of us sitting inhabiting these squares have, and that thing that I have, it doesn't respect dreams, goals, ambitions, aspirations, and the rest of it. By the time I made it to October the 10th of 1986, I was 33 years old, and I was serving for this youngster up the street, right? This guy, first kid off the block, go to college, went off to UCLA, did some good things, worked some in politics, rose in the workplace, was working in management, in a major utility company in their law department, married with a kid and all this. But by the night of October the 10th of 86, uh, I had been, my profession at that time, was serving for this youngster. And these two youngsters came up to me. And they like, Ralph, I mean, they didn't know my name, so they didn't say Ralph. Say, man, you got double up 50. Yeah, I can serve you double up 50. And so I served them. And I said, okay, where's the money? And they grabbed their crotch and was like, here's your, and walked away. And I was like, this is the weakest jack move ever. They didn't pull a pistol. They didn't sock me. They didn't even deal to respect it. We're not going to waste time. We're not going to waste energy on this little dude. We just going to take. And I was like, wow. And I did what I do in a situation like that, right? So now I'm short with the youngsters. So now I go up to this spot and to contemplate, how I'm going to recover from this. I go up in this spot and long story short, smoke up the rest of his stuff. Clearly, the next morning, it dawned on me that wasn't the best idea. And the morning of October the 11th, 1986, saw me dodging a black truck 4 or 5 blocks to make it to my mom's house. And I knocked on her back door that morning. And I said, Mom, if you let me in the house, I promise I'll go up in the program where my brother Ronnie is. Ronnie was in the Harbor Light, had been there about 80 days. And my word didn't have any value at that time. So we found the yellow pages, found the number to the Harbor Light, called up there. They located Ronnie. Ronnie got excited. They put him on the phone. I was on Ronnie, tell Mom they got a bed for me. I'm dragged, right? Ronnie got excited. He don't know. Yeah, I'm sure they can get you a bed. Here's where the hand of God starts. If we have any new friends on here, you often hear many of us talk about this program of ours being divinely inspired. And we say that for lots of reasons, depending on the context. When we read the book, a lot of times we'll talk about it's divinely inspired because what's in that book is beyond the scope of the writers. They didn't have any business putting what's in there, but they did. There are other things and so in our own stories, which we only recognize retrospect, looking back, right? And it's one of the reasons we tell stories. It's the language of spirituality. It's the way to best describe what it is that we've discovered. It's a lot of information on here. It's some people that deep. It's some people that really can seem insightful and thoughtful and break the book down but that's not the power of our program. The information is cool, but it's the transformation. It's the transformation. And we've discovered the best way to transmit transformation is through storytelling, right? You don't do it through a seminar. It's through storytelling. And so our stories are it's our before and after. And for me, the most powerful piece in a story is the fact that the person that's telling the story is not the person that's in the story. I continue to be amazed at that. I'm looking in my square and I see Cindy, and Cindy looks like, respectable lady, maybe a housewife, soccer mom, what are you doing up in here with us, Cindy? And then Cindy will start telling her story and I'll be like, ooh, please, Cindy, don't you leave. The power of the power, the transformational power, right? And that's our mugshots, the before and after. And so anyway, in my story, which I can only see it looking back, the hand of God. You see it all, the fingerprints and the footprint all throughout. So the power of that was not that, oh, I got in the house and I stayed in the house that weekend, that was amazing, that I stayed. A lot of times people say, remember your last run. That wasn't the worst that had happened to me. That youngster whose black truck I was dodging, I sucked on his pistol before. That it shakes you for a minute. And then if you like me, when you get out of it, you say, oh, he wasn't really going to pull the trigger. No, oh, it wasn't really. You know what I mean? But something transpired. I used to think I was responsible for my own surrender, you guys. The longer I'm around here, the more I'm in wonderment at the power of this power, that I didn't surrender. I was surrendered. I was surrendered because I'm not the surrendering kind. I'm not the giving up type. I get it off before a minute. I don't surrender in the sense of giving up. I do it to get you off me, but then I'm back at it when you turn your back. And I don't surrender in the sense of giving up possession. I don't surrender my stuff. I don't surrender my will. I'm not the surrendering kind. But something came in me that was not of me that kept me. The thing about it is, I have been in remorse before. What kept me there this time? And here's where the miracle started. When Monday morning came, I stayed in the house, and Monday morning, I went to the Harbor Light, and Grace found me. And I walked into the Harbor Light, that October of 1986, more dead than alive. Since we've been on Zoom, I've had some opportunities I didn't have before. My brothers and I, it's four of us in the program now, you guys, and we had never all been in one spot. They had a meeting, and all four of us were on a panel, and they were interviewing us. It was an interview, interesting, format, and all of us learned some stuff that day. We were in it together. We were in the life together. We were going at it hard and heavy. And drinking, smoking herb, hitting, snorting for a long time, hitting the horn. We were in it together, right? But still, we had some stuff in that interview that came out. So Ronnie shared in that interview what it was like my first day in recovery. And because we so tight, he's a year younger than me. He was 80 days older than me in sobriety. And we're so tight, I could see me through his eyes. So in Harbor Light, they have what's called primary. And primary is where the new people come in, you know. And so you go and it's about 30 beds up there and you stay in primary 30 days. And then it was a 90-day program. And the rest of the people are in for UTAV's general population, they in Gen Pop, right? And so they eat lunch before the guys in primary. So Ronnie's at lunch, and they bring the guys in primary down to lunch this day, my first day. And Ronnie's in the cafeteria, and they march the new guys down, these 15 or 20 or so guys. We come in, and all the old guys are sitting there, and they're looking. And Ronnie said, as excited as he was, just that I was there. He hadn't seen me get checked in. He knew I was there, and it was his first look. And you got to know about us. It's me, then Ronnie, then Reggie. I'd be Stu Maybrett, then Ronnie, then Reggie. I'd be then Ronnie, then Reggie. Everything in our footsteps. And my brothers always looked up to me. Big brother, uh, high achiever, fun, Rodney's first J, man, you can't be no poop. But you smoke that, I'm just wanting to be like his brother. And so that's the guy that he had always looked up to. And so we come down, and Ronnie says when he saw me come in, as happy as he was that I was coming in out of the cold, he said it was embarrassed and he was ashamed because I walked in there and I was skeletal. My hair was matted. I was almost unrecognizable. This guy he looked up to all this time. And he had probably been telling his boys up in there, my brother's here. And when you in the life together, you don't realize, because everybody looked you all in it, right? So when you in the Walking Dead, you don't know you look like Walking Dead. Y'all all that's your colony, right? That's your people. But when you come out of that and you got 80 days under your belt and you clear it up in yourself, so now you look at the zombie for what the zombie really is. And you guys, when I heard him, this was last year or so I'm 36 years removed from that, right? But when I heard him, uh, my heart almost broke for myself and my brother looking at me. It was great. But check this out. It was the best, worst day of my life. If you're new and you're hurting and you confused and you see us laughing and you don't find nothing funny and they don't want to see you at the house and you got people looking for you and you don't know when you're going to get a job again because you've been unemployed for a while and you got this big gap on the resume. And if you don't know where you're going to stay because your wife or your husband said, don't bring that around here no more. And if nobody seems to trust you and it seems like it's no friendly direction, welcome to the best, worst day. Welcome to the best, worst day. They used to say when I was new, the thing about us, the worse off you are when you get here, the better off your chances of staying. And I got the message of hope when I first came. And, I started going to meetings, because I came in here, like I said, 33 years old. Life over, I thought. Scared little boy playing and being a man. I started going to meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous when I had 30 days in that program. I had been in a program, you guys, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. And bounce. I don't know what we're gonna get today, but I'm gonna hit some highlights of 37 years, And I had come originally in 1985, and I came in 1985, you know, um, and I went to a treatment facility for 28 days. I went to the care unit, and I was serious about staying sober. I was as serious in 85 as I was when I came back to stay in 86. But in 85, I would go to meetings. I remember coming out of this treatment facility and they would say, you need to find a home group in Alcoholics Anonymous. I would think to myself, because I always give myself answers. And then I believe myself. And then I surround myself with people just like me, same age range and whatever the endeavor is. And we tell ourselves stuff and then we believe it, right? And so I told myself, I don't really need to go to these meetings. We got this crew in this treatment facility, it's 6 of us. We're going to be our support group. We're going to keep ourselves together and all that other stuff. I know that's what they say, but this is how it's really done. And so I would go to meetings late. I would get there late. I would leave early. They give phone numbers. I'd be like, why y'all trying to, you trying to get up in my business, right? But I like the stories. I found them interesting, but I really didn't get in the middle, right? And so I was out and on day 89, and I was with this girl that was a friend of mine, and we went to a club. And just a good friend of mine, she didn't understand the seriousness of my condition. She knew that I had been smoking, and she knew I went away for 28, 29 days, came back looking good. No, you need to stay away from that. So we go up in this club, you guys, and I had been in a facility. Bill in his story talked about self knowledge. That was the answer. Surely that was the answer. And he talked about the goose hung high for a little amount of time. Fear sobered me for a bit. And fear sobered me for a little while. And I had self knowledge. I know you don't take the first one. I admitted I was an alcoholic because that's the price of admission to share at the meetings, right? And I like talking at meetings. So I said I'm alcoholic. And I thought that I really knew what that meant. And I was at this club on day 89, you guys, and I was sitting at this table, and the girl, my friend went and danced with a guy, and she had ordered a Long Island iced tea and left it on the table when she was dancing. And it was me and the Long Island. And I looked at it, seemed like it looked at me, and I said, let me sip this Long Island because surely I'm a smoker. That's my real problem, right? I had said it, step one. I had said it. I had admitted I was an alcoholic. Price of admission to talk at the meetings. Intellectually, I got it. You don't take anything in the world, but I hadn't been confronted. So I sipped that Long Island. I drank that Long Island. I put my fair hand on. I said, Deb, take me home. Took me home. I went around the corner to the spot Ronnie was, and I started smoking about 11 more months, you guys. And I got a full understanding of my condition. And I understand that step one, admitted that I'm powerless, is not the first step. We had to fully concede to our innermost self. Well, this is the first step in recovery. And the reason why, you guys, even though somebody at the beginning might have said, Ralph, does he know he's at a CA meeting? Because I always introduce myself as an alcoholic because it covers everything, A, and B. It is the area where I am most likely to go into denial about my alcoholism. I'll never go in denial about smoking. You ain't even got to worry about it. But that one, and so it is very important that it is imprinted on me that I'm an alcoholic of a hopeless variety. And it covers everything else. But I learned that lesson, sitting at that, because I thought, okay, I had a couple of reservations. That one got knocked out of the box. I didn't know, you guys. I didn't know the depths of my alcoholism till I drank that Long Island iced tea with 89 days of recovery. I had held on to the idea that once I get sober, now I'll be able to go out and serve successfully, right? Because I didn't realize, you guys, I was as uh, addicted to the lifestyle as I was the drugs and alcohol. I was the life, because the life is in the book talks about make it, and don't just read sentences, you guys. You know what I've learned in my experience, and I'm not going to impose it on you because you can't get it till you get it. I'm just going to share some insight that I've gleaned over time. Much of what I read, and a lot of you, Lavelle, I'm looking at you, and you a guy that's in it. Theory, I'm looking at you. You guys are on fire. You inspire me, and you grab it, and you know it. I'm going to invite you to stay open and realize that much of what I read, I don't, I understand it it comes home to me in my experience. Much of what it is that I've gotten from I didn't get it when I read. I got it when it slapped me. I said, oh, that's what that means. Oh, and the only way that happens is it happens. So I stay available to the experience. I stay available to what it is that life is presenting to me. I stay available and I stay open because when I think I know, I'm not open, right? And so it's, oh my God, the journey, you guys. So, um, I'm going to meet. So when I come back in '86, you know, having had that experience, I'm an all in guy. So I come back in '86 and I start going to meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I get a home group, 9604 South Figueroa, in the Crenshaw Lotto Club in the daytime. And I'm going to meetings, I'm going to meetings, I'm going to meetings. About 90 days in, I get another home group. And I get a home group in Cocaine Anonymous. I'm a member of two fellowships, and I'm a member in good standing. And it has not been hard for me to be a member. Let me say that parenthetically before I go forward. I've been doing this thing 37 years. It has not been hard for me to be a member. I've never yet regretted. Give me my membership back. I've never said that. I've never said revoke mine. I've never said I resign. It has not been hard for me to be a member. Life has presented some challenges in 37 years, but being with you guys, that's my savings. That's my soft landing. That's my saving grace. That's my safe harbor. I've had some things happen in these years where I've needed a safe place to go. I'm a fellowship guy. I'm a program guy. I'm a service guy. And I don't diminish one in order to emphasize the other. There have been, so I started going to meetings, you guys. Started going to meetings. Cocaine Anonymous was founded, for those of you who don't know, in November of 1982 in my city, in Los Angeles, California. So we were thriving and we were new and we were on fire. We were not yet 4 years old when I came around. We were in our infancy. And so I started going to meetings, going to meetings, and going to meetings, and going to meetings. And I'm the kind of guy, why go to a 12-step program and not practice the 12 steps? You sponsors. I always self-evaluate. I do the self-aware thing because I want to be mindful of my blind spots. And so sometimes, because I'm an all-in guy, I'm built that way. When I play ball, I'm all in. I don't play picnic ball because I don't know how to play picnic ball. I'm head first slide. I'm going in. I'm hitting her. I'm tackling. I don't know how to. So I'm just all in. I've always been that way. And I'm all in recovery by being a 12-step program and not practice the 12 steps. That's like me sitting in a dope house looking at you taking a hit and thinking I'm gonna end up, sprung. I'm not going to sit up in a meeting and see you taking steps and think I'm gonna end up recovering. And I did it for myself, and so, I was listening. And so if you go to enough meetings, and I fell in love with the fellowship before I fell in love with the program, if you go to enough meetings, you'll hear some common themes, and you'll hear people talking about this book, talking about this book, talking about this book, and me and my brother and my boy, the late Leon Strange, we were at a marathon meeting around this time of year, around Thanksgiving. And we were at a marathon meeting and we heard these people sharing about the book in a way we had never heard before and never seen it before, and we asked these two people that were members of this group, would you take us through this the way you've done it? And in November of 1987, a group of us sat around the mom's dining room table on a Sunday morning. It was about 12 of us. And we started going through the book page by page, line by line. And who knew? We were just some young guys who were hungry. We were some young guys and it was fun. We were some young guys who was, if this thing wasn't fun, you'd have a different speaker today. I'm dead serious about recovery, but I'm seldom serious in recovery. If you ain't laughing in this program, you ain't taking this program serious enough. I used to think you got to present serious to be serious. I would be sitting in a meeting and you guys would be sharing something that seemed tragic or something that seemed like it was sad. Oh, and people would be laughing. And I remember in '85 when I first came, when I didn't come to stay, I'd be looking at people trying to check them with my eyes like, don't be laughing. Don't you see he's hurting? And ain't nothing funny about that. I didn't know. I didn't know because I'm a perpetrator, you guys. I've always been a guy that likes to, I want to present. I don't know nothing about authentic or transfer. I don't know nothing about that. I'm that guy, that puts it. So I thought if you have to show serious to be serious, nothing could be further from the truth. So me and my brother and my boy Strength, get you some road dogs in this thing, man. I got a sponsor, but I got some dogs. And me and Strange and Ronnie, we will be hitting it, I'm an all-in guy. That's how I'm built. I was sharing you guys about in your sponsorship. That's one of my blind spots because I am by nature uh, inquisitive. By nature, I'm hungry. By nature, writing and reading comes easy for me. That's not everybody's story. And I got two big impediments of mine, that I have to stay aware of. One is this. I think that uh, if it ain't my experience, you lying about it being yours. And I got another one that's a companion. I think that my experience is the experience. So, because I loved meetings from the beginning, I've always found you guys interesting. I've always found you fascinating. I've always been, eager to get there. That's not everybody's story. Everybody doesn't find us interesting at first. Some people find us off-putting. Some people find us intimidating. Some people don't find us welcoming. Some people land in a place that I had the fortune of landing in a hotbed. I realize because I get to travel a lot and I get to see, our fellowship all over. I realize that's not everybody's experience. And so sponsors, be mindful because you are a good writer or because you like reading or because that's my wheelhouse, you guys. Reading and writing, that's my wheelhouse. So when it came to inventory, that's not a big, it was a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Sharing secrets is a big deal to me. But writing and looking and talking, that's not. So but that's somebody else's kryptonite. They remember whenever you tell them to write, all that brings up memories of being up at the blackboard when they were in the third or fourth grade and they can't write. And the kids laugh at them or the teacher chides them. And the teacher says, get up here. And they say, no, I ain't going to. I did some teaching. And I realized that a lot of times what looks like defiance is really fear. What looks like I won't is really I can't or I feel like I can't. Sponsors, be mindful. I hear a lot of people share. He don't want to do the work. He don't want to. I'm scared. I'm scared. And because that's not my experience, and I would get on people. How come you ain't a meet? I love going to meetings. That ain't everybody's experience. I'm an all-in guy. I am an all-in guy. It's still a recipe, you guys. For anybody that's new on here, I say it all the time. If you're new, if you're returning, we work a whole lot better from the inside out. The view is a lot better from the middle. I want to extend to you, if you've been bouncing around this thing, come all the way in. Sit all the way down. Do what we do. Come all the way in. All the way. How did you do that, Ralph? How did you first come all the way? Well, part of it, like I say, you guys, it's my personality. I'm an all-in guy. My sponsor likes to say he knows who's in the game. I play ball, you guys. And when I play ball, I never set out to sit on the bench. I set out to get in the goddamn game. And I'm not knocking it. We need bench warmers. We need scrubs. We need spectators. We need commentators on the game to make them think it puts them in the game. But put me in the goddamn game. Put me in the goddamn game. Well, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Put me in the. A lot of you guys have heard me share. Fellas, I don't do strip clubs right now because I don't like looking. Put me in. I ain't a spectator. Recovery ain't a spectator sport. Put me in. And the way that I came all the way in and sat all the way down was on my knees. Counterintuitive. That's why we need sponsors, because a lot of the things that we talk about in here, they're not the way that I think they talk about an allergy. I don't break out. I needed somebody to share with me what that looks like. What is coming all the way in and sitting all the way down? What does that look like? Well, what it looks like is me getting on my knees and say, God, do something with your boy. And I was in here about a year, you guys, and I was going through this book with a group of people. And whatever it is that helps your boy, I use it. I'm not one of these guys. I don't stand on ceremony. I'm not set tripping. I ain't a person that if you do that, I don't do share shaming. You know, a lot of people want to comment on how other people should share how you share, you know, and I told you guys I'm bouncing all over the place right now, but it's some things that I've discovered on this road and you guys have put me together, you know, and I came in here 33. I had a little girl. And my little girl was 2.5 when I made it to you guys. And when I got on my knees, okay, God, do something with me. And I don't mean a remodel. I don't mean put some hardwood floors up there. I don't mean slap some paint. Tear this shit down. Start from scratch. Start from scratch. Brand new me. The book calls that roots, grass, new soil. What it was for me is, man, leave it. Whatever it is. And I don't know, you guys, whether or not I was walking toward the light or whether I was running from the gorilla. It really don't matter. I'm giving up on me. And I said, yeah, do something with your boy. And he did something with me. And it's been remarkable. You know, and it's over the years, that third step that I've come to. I've come to it in different ways. And I've come to it in, but fundamentally, you guys, for me, uh, you know, because I came in, I didn't have a whole problem with that first step because of that. Remember that 1985 experience? It extinguished the last thought that I could do this by myself, and it took away that last reservation, that alcohol. I didn't know it was one until it was exposed. And so when I came in, I knew when I take one, I can't tell you when I'm gonna stop. I go on runs. It's not everybody's experience. I'm grateful for my experience. My experience took me to the mouth. My experience was an ugly, grimy experience. My experience ain't a penitentiary experience. My experience is not the experience where some people have, but it was grimy and ugly enough for me. It extinguished. I was a guy walking around with no hope. I was a guy that hadn't looked at myself full face in the mirror in over a year. I was a guy that didn't know where my family was living and didn't know where my little girl was enrolled in school. I was a guy that had dreams and goals and hopes and ambitions, and I had none of them anymore. I had no self-respect, and I had lost the thing most of us lose by the time we reach a room like this. I had lost the power of choice over whether or not I'd be doing it, and I stopped caring about it. And the second part scared me more than the first one, when I stopped caring about where this thing had took me. I was getting loaded to stop from thinking about where getting loaded it took me. That's it. That's all. No juice, no joy. No, it was no more nothing out of it. I stopped getting up, just stopped from thinking about where it took me. And I didn't know there was something else available. I didn't know they still celebrated Christmas. When I got on my knees and said, God, do something with your boy, I'd like to see Christmas again. I'd like to open up presents with my little girl on her birthday. If it's not too much to ask, I like to hand, if you still handing out some of that respect I see some of the brothers walk around here with. If you hand them some of that out, I like a little bit of that. I like my daughter to look at me the way I saw Theory. He just put his son or daughter on his lap. I couldn't tell. He took them down real fast. I like to get a look. I like to have a moment like that. And I believe everybody on here has been to that spot where we just didn't think that was available to us anymore. And grace found me. And the thing about it, it wasn't a one-time deal. It wasn't an incident. God has continued to smile on your boy. And I got up off my knees and I embarked on this program of action. This ego reducing series of actions that we call the steps. I give you the shortcut version because I suffer from an illness that only a spiritual experience can conquer, right? So it's too much me between me and the power. When I got on my knees and said that prayer, something interesting happened in the thing right there in that third step. You would think I was getting ready to say, relieve me of this terrible obsession to drink and use. Relieve me of the goddamn whore. Relieve me of this merciless obsession to smoke cocaine. Relieve me of this desire to drink beverage alcohol. But I didn't say that. Relieve me of the bondage. It's hey, when did I sign up for the bondage and self program? I thought I was signing up for the don't drink and use no matter what program. The whole deal. Lady, that's the whole deal, you guys. And I'm gonna give you the shortcut version for that one. Because when we talk about, I suffer from an illness that only a spiritual experience. People think they gotta go looking all over the place for this spiritual experience. People think God is hiding it. I'm gonna give you the shortcut formula. Grow God, shrink Ralph, whole deal. Grow God, shrink Ralph, whole deal. I hear a lot of people, I'm not knocking it. I say I don't do share shaming, and I don't. A lot of people say I need to get a bigger God when they encounter problems. For me, well, I can't really impact God, and God really don't need. God is God. Omnipotent. You don't get bigger than omnipotent. I don't need. So you want to get a bigger? No, I need a smaller me. So I get a bigger God. I just need a smaller me. I need a smaller me. Oh my God, that's what the rest of this deal is about. So I embark on it, man. I start looking at some stuff in me and you guys start revealing some stuff. I start doing some things that are foreign to my nature. I stop pointing the finger and I start looking at me. And here's the consequence, here's the consequence of me looking at me. And our troubles are of my own making. So I don't have to wait for you to get better for me to get better. Wow, new ideal, novel ideal. I get you. And so here's the other piece to that. You don't own me. When I'm in the victim seat, when I'm in the third column, when I'm living in the second and the third column, you own me. When I see you, I get pissed off. When I think of you, I avoid you. When I see him, I can't go over. You own me. No, 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 no. So I do that fourth step, you guys, and I start looking at these resentments and these fears in my sex conduct, and something starts happening in your boy. Here's what starts happening. Not that I get to come out and I get to do workshops, or I get to impress you guys, or I get to walk as a grown ass man. I start getting accountable. I start taking accountability for myself. You stop owning me. I probably think I don't have to wait for you to get better for me to get better. I do that scary thing. It don't just happen at that fourth step. I do the scary thing. I tell on myself. I do a fifth step. I didn't know you guys were prepping me for a fifth step in the meetings. You guys were always telling on yourself. And here's the thing that helped a guy like me. People clap when you do it. I like people clapping for me. You mean I get to expose the stuff that I'm scared to let anybody know? I get to let everybody know, and it's okay. Not only is it okay, it's encouraged. It's my way. Oh my God. Now that didn't mean it was real easy for me at first, but it was so, and like you guys, I didn't know. It was like Karate Kid when he was getting ready for the tournament. They had him why? He was like, what they got to do with it? I didn't know when I was sharing in meetings. I didn't know when I was listening to you guys share these self-revealing accounts. I didn't know I was whacked. So I was getting ready for a fifth step. And you had already prepared me for a soft landing. And a guy like me who's a secret keeper, a guy like me who is trapped in what I think you think about me, a guy like me whose biggest fear is if you really know me, you won't like me. A guy like me took a chance on you, took a chance on this sponsor, took a chance on these closed mouth friends. And it was gradual and it was incremental, but it started chipping away. And I go and I sit and I look at what it is that I used to think serves me well that don't serve me well. And I kept bumping my head against some of those things until I realized I can't get them out of me. God, you better do something with me. When my girl do something I don't like, I pout like a little kid and I can't stop myself from doing it. I'm controlling. I'm judgmental. I'm overly sensitive to criticism. I criticize. You better not criticize me. I use sarcasm. I think it's being funny, but I don't know it's cutting and it's hurting. I do all manner of things that I look at. Some of them I say, okay, God, I'm ready for you to do something with that right now. I'm tired of being in this bondage of me, too much me between me and you. And these things that I think serve me, what they don't serve me. They keep people off instead of inviting people. And it keeps me as this scared little boy. And so I go there and now I'm ready to go see the people. And when I go see the people and they don't recognize the person that's there. Big boy stuff, big girl stuff, go cleaning up messes. And now I'm walking, I got a new address. Bill calls it walking in the sunlight of the spirit. I got a friend that says I'm walking on the sunny side of the street, and I got some people in my life that just say, he being that. You know what? I'm gonna share a secret with you guys. I discovered, and a lot of I see some of the Turks get to go out and do some talking. Now you host meetings, and I heard people say, you try to make a name in an anonymous program, right? And a lot of us say, don't do that. Well, I'm going to share with you how to make a name for yourself in an anonymous program. Ready? I'm sharing with you. First, stay sober. That's the first thing. Stay sober. Stay sober. So do all these things that it is that we do and stay sober. I told you guys I turned 70 on 9/11, and my daughters, oh my God, I don't have time for that. I don't know where the time went. But my daughters too gave me a 70th birthday party. My youngest daughter is amazing. She plans it was a big, big deal, you guys, right? I was in a tux. I was, all of it. Had a driver, and the driver dropped me off at the event, right? Make a name for yourself in an anonymous program is where we're going. And so the driver dropped me off. And my grandsons were there. They weren't staying for the event because it was a party, grown folk party, but they were there to see granddaddy when he showed up. And so my little grandson, Errol, my oldest grandson, Artisan. Hey, granddad. A name for yourself in an anonymous program. And little Aaron runs up and grabs me around my legs. You know how they do. Granddaddy. And we go in and we get into the event and they got a microphone and they did this portion in the event. They toasted me. And my stepson, he's 43. And he gets up and he says, Pops, everything I know about a man came from you, Pops. And my big girl, my oldest daughter, she's a practicing attorney right now. She's 40. She says, my daddy, I'm a daddy's girl. And she's crying. And my little girl, River, she's 28. I was in the delivery room when she came here, you guys. And she says, Dad, and River can make dad 3 syllables. Dad. And my mom was there. My mom has been here doing much of this talk, sitting over there ear hustling, right? They left because they went to a funeral. My daughter picked her. And my mom gets up and she says, my son. And my older brother, Will, he gets up to make his toast and he says, bro. And I had some people at the event and they say it to me all the time. A lot of you guys talk to me. Spons. I have a lot of names, you guys, as a result of coming in here, sitting all the way down, coming all the way in. I had some names in the streets. I went up to a youngster one day. on a bicycle, and he was serving, and I gave him $20. I said, "Can't you do better than that?" He said, "You better get your base head ass out my face." Base head. I got a whole lot of other names now. Granddaddy, Pops, Dad, my son, Bro, Spines. You know what? There's one name. I keep ahead of all those other names that keeps me able to keep those names. And that is, my name is Ralph White, and I am an alcoholic. Thank you guys.